Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Lamborghini Super Trofeo Asia 2024, round one, race number 2. Yesterday we had race number 1. It was incredible. We had a real standout performance from Marco Giltrap, who managed to go out there and win the race with Clay Osborne. And we also had Miki Kiyama, who made an unbelievable jaunt in the second stint yesterday to drag the Iron Lynx car from Italy up into P2 in the second stint as well with Charles Leong. So two big performances yesterday, but we head to today's grid. And well, we've got Jikong Lee, or Lee Jikong, who starts in P1, and yesterday managed to get a P4 in their debut season in the Lamborghini Super Trofeo. So very exciting times. Few cars then going through the pits to do another formation lap, or a little recce lap, if you like, before they do indeed make their way to the grid for our final race of the weekend. And well, yesterday's race winners. Absolute Racing will be looking to go 2 from 2. They start from the front row of the grid, so the perfect position, really. Although yesterday they managed to start themselves from pole position and drop down to 4th spot. So anything better than that on lap number 1 will make their life a little bit easier. Clay Osborne started in the car yesterday. It's Marco Giltrap that starts in the car this time around. And every single driver or set of drivers who have 2 will have swapped around. So this is very exciting indeed. So yes, very exciting indeed. There we go. We have got the number 65 there on your screen. That's DW Evans GT, Daniel Philip Wells, and Emilian Carde driving in that car. Emilian Carde will start off today. He did the second stint yesterday. We got some very vibrant-looking Lamborghini Huracan Evo 2s, the Super Trofeo, of course. Very vibrant. You just saw there Miki Kiyama in the foreground. As we're now about to see all of the teams head over to the grid. Some celebrities on there as well, I'm sure. Some fans, some very lucky fans of the VIP experience with their cameras, trying to get some nice close-up shots of these spectacular machines. Heading through the clear curve, the double right-hander. So we have a nice little shot there of, well, rain tyres. Hopefully we don't see them today. I'm sure there are people right now watching going, yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing a bit of rain, but there's no rain due this afternoon. I must admit, when I looked at the weather forecast a couple of days ago in anticipation of the weekend, it did say it was going to rain for both races. We had 0 rain yesterday, and it looks like we're going to have 0 rain today. But it is Sepang. Anything can happen. Expect it to happen. There is True Visions Motorsport there by Thailand, the number 78 car. Bobby Buncheron will be in that car, solo entry. Had a pretty good showing yesterday with a top 10 P9. As we get some slick tyres. Those are the tyres we're going to see today. That is for certain. Very muggy conditions in the local area. How wide those tyres are they? Ooh. Some fronts and some rears. So everybody now starting to make their way towards that grid. And it'll be a case of open up the cars, say your final farewells to your team, final good lucks, maybe get a couple of pictures with some fans before we take on this race. 50 minutes plus 1 lap. So 50 minutes plus 1 lap. Once the time elapses, you have another lap to finish. So the first time they cross the line with it being 0 on the clock will be the race end. See lots of fans there with their phones out trying to get that perfect shot. And there is the race winner from yesterday, number 84, but not on pole position. Peter Lee in second spot. Starts from pole position. What a beautiful looking car, by the way. In the Blackjack Racing. It's a lovely team name as well. So that will be your pole sitter. Also, I want to give a shout out to Nikki, who's been helping me through this weekend. Lots of the drivers have been very, very kind in shortening their names for me and stuff like that, which has been very, very kind. But yeah, Nikki has been the go-to when it's been about names. So thank you for that. Obviously, it's very difficult with the first week for me. And so, yeah, it's been fun, but I've had help along the way. So there is your circuit then. We are here at Sepang, 5.5 kilometres long, 15 corners in total. And we do have that long straight that's nearly a kilometre long all on its own. On the exit of the final corner down towards turn number 1. Here are your race winners from yesterday. It'll be Marco Giltrap, who finished the race yesterday. That starts off. And then it'll be Clay Osborne that will take the second stint and try and bring them across the line for a double race victory. Very relaxed looking chap. Of course, last season's pro champion. So why wouldn't you be relaxed? Why would you not be relaxed, ladies and gentlemen? You're already won the championship. You know what's to be expected of you. And you start off with a race victory in round number 1. What possibly could be better? So yeah, you can imagine feeling pretty good about themselves this week. If they go 2 from 2, well, that is just the perfect start. In third spot then, we have got Charles and Mickey. Mickey will start today though. Mickey Kiyama came out into the car, I think P5 yesterday, once the pit stop phase had happened, but battled up to P2, an incredible drive from Mickey Kiyama. And, you know, if it wasn't for Marco Giltrap and his performance to win the race, for me, would have been driver of the day. But, yeah, Marco takes that. Mickey Kiyama, though, did drive up to P2. Expect to see some pace at the start of this race from that third position on the grid. So very, very impressive from Mickey Kiyama yesterday. We've got the young Frenchman racing in the car today, Emilien Cardet. We've also got, of course, Daniel Philip Wells, who was the Pro-Am champion last season. Emilien Cardet, who's going to start today. He will indeed, it's his debut season, so not yet got any kind of performance under his belt, but will start on the second row of the grid in 4th position in that Pro category. So the top 4 cars are all Pro cars, and the first of our AM cars will be the next car that we will see on our screens. As you can see there, the grid's still very, very busy indeed. But here is P number 5 then. Chang Woo Lee for the SQDA Grit Motorsport team. The Korean team. Korean driver. Oh, I think he's telling us he's going to number 1. I think he's telling us he's going to number 1, ladies and gentlemen. So someone seems very confident. Solo entry, so no driver swap needed today. If you think that might be a bit unfair, well, actually, they all have to serve an 85-second pit stop. So it's a bit of a leveler. So if they have no driver swap, they still have to serve the same amount of pit time, meaning that no one gains an unfair advantage, if you like. So we are very close then to getting things kicked off for our race start. So this is P number 6. Natanid and Decathorn. I've been very kindly given the okay to use Cat, or indeed Poo, as their names for this season. This is the YK Motorsports from Thailand outfit. They start on your 3rd row of the grid. You see some fans there just getting their nice seats ready, getting their spots ready. You can see the grid is now definitely emptying. The drivers all frantically are going to put their gear on. They're ready to go. Bobby Buncheron. This is good. Yesterday, nobody was waving at the camera. Today, we're getting lots of animation. That's what we want to see. Yes. Good luck, Bobby. He was the AM champion in 2018, driving in a True Vision Motorsports car. There won't be many people left on the pits once this has happened. You can see the very poignant A on the back of those shirts on the right-hand side for Absolute Racing, synonymous with the Asian motorsport scene. 3 minutes to go, as you just saw there. What maybe performance of the day yesterday in terms of an individual was Jonathan Chicotto. He will not start this race. Gavin Huang will start the race today. They start in 9th position. Sorry, they start in 8th position. Not 9th, they start in 8th position. But yeah, Chicotto yesterday was unbelievable and actually brought the car into the pits in P1 quite comfortably. But Huang unfortunately had a little spin, had a little issue. We've got the O's now, Haziq and Harry. They start in 9th position in the HZO Fortis Racing team by Absolute Racing. We just saw their logo. They start then in 9th position on that 5th row of the grid. As you can see, though, the whole grid is pretty much empty now. Even our camera guy is off, so we won't be seeing any more close-ups of the cars. Looks like we are pretty much ready to rock and roll. There we go, 1 minute. So you've got the 1 minute board. We've got one formation lap, and then we've got a 50-minute timed race. They do have to serve a pit stop in this race, mandatory pit stop. That is where if you have a partner or a second driver, they have to get into the car. If you do not have a second driver, you still have to serve an 85-second pit stop time, meaning nobody gains an unfair advantage. And the pit stop window will open after 20 minutes in this race, and it will pop up on the left-hand side of your screen, so you won't miss it. And it will close with 20 minutes left to go in the race. So the pit window is open for 10 minutes long. So Peter Lee takes us away from pole position. Then you've got Marco Giltrap that will start in 2nd spot. That is your front row. Yesterday, their results were, well, Peter Lee finished in 4th position overall in the race, and it was a win for Marco Giltrap. So Marco looking to go 2 from 2. The Iron Lynx car that starts in 3rd finished 2nd yesterday, and a big opportunity for the DW Evans GT car. They finished in 8th yesterday, and we'll be looking to improve on that as they start in 4th spot. So 1 lap then, 5.5 kilometers of this Malaysian circuit here in Sepang for the drivers to figure it out, get themselves lined up, and take on the final race of the weekend. You certainly can't win a championship in race weekend number 1, but you can lose it. Anyway, it's Lee on P1. You've got then Absolute Racing in P2. You've got Iron Lynx in P3. You've got DW Evans GT in 4th spot. SQTA Grit Motorsport are in P5. You've got then YK Motorsports in 6th. True Vision in 7th. Arrows Racing in 8th. You've then got HZO in 9th with Vortex in 10th position. You've then got Iron Lynx in 11th. 12th for DW Evans GT. Madness Racing Team in 13th. Arrows Racing in 14th. CM Gas Corsa in 15th. 16th then for Madness Racing Team. And then we have 610 Racing by Absolute in 17th. And then the last car on the grid, it is Arrows Racing. So the pace car takes us on this lap. The final time they'll be in formation, hopefully. I don't want any safety cars today. I want to just see a nice sprint from start to finish. We are good to indeed go. Then we go heading up through Bajaya Tioman corner. Now we're heading down towards the Kenya Lake corner. And then nearly a few more to go. Already starting to form up. Already starting to move side by side. Pace car slowing down quite significantly. And this is now where they will start to go 2 by 2. So we are nearly at the end of our formation lap. We are nearly on for the second race of the weekend. Yesterday, it was all about Marco Giltrap, Clay Osborne. They start second today. Can Peter Lee do anything about them? Well, we're about to find out. Can Miki Kiyama provide some magic, just like she did yesterday in stint 2, but this time from the start of the race? This should prove to be a very nice spectacle indeed. Pace car then will peel off to the right-hand sides of our screen and end up down the pit lane. So 50 minutes of racing action for race 2, round 1 of the Lamborghini Super Trofeo Asia 2024. And it will be Peter Lee, the Chinese driver for Blackjack Racing, in that green and grey livery at the front of the grid on the left-hand side. And then we have got the Absolute Racing team of Marco Giltrap and Clay Osborne in second, and we are off and we are running. And it's a great start there from our pole sitter. And I'll tell you what, behind SQDA, they've also got an absolute fly here. It's 4 wide as we head down towards turn number 1. And realistically, the only winners to this is Peter Lee. Peter Lee does hold on to the lead. And all of a sudden, the Absolute Racing side, they're down into 4th position, but just as quickly as it went down to 4th, they've now moved up into 2nd. We've got a car that's spun all the way around there. That is not good enough. Bobby Buncheron. It looks like he might be okay. It doesn't look like anyone's got involved in terms of any potential contact. So all is good. You've got the YK Motorsport team also coming through. Already going to be half a lap down, and maybe even a little bit more. So yeah, unfortunate there. We've just come through the Pajaya Tioman corner. But yeah, Peter Lee is not going to be worried about what Bobby's up to. He's just going to be off into the distance as best he possibly can. Marco Giltrap there, running a little bit deep, coming down towards Kenya Lake corner. Head then down in towards the Sunway Lagoon corner, heading onto the back straight before we get into that final hairpin. Peter Lee has had the best start he could possibly have asked for, really. Changwoo Lee into 3rd spot by the looks of things. He's had a very good start here. Emilien Carde, who struggled yesterday for pace, has found himself in a very, very good position in 4th spot. Hasn't dropped down too many, and maybe learned some lessons yesterday. We saw him learning from the offset. It was a case of a learning experience, and you could tell he was getting better and better with his defensive moves and whatnot, and has proved that point. Where's Miki Kiyama in all of this? We're about to find out. P5, so dropped down already into P5, so 2 spots lost there, but it is the lead for Blackjack Racing. It's the most important thing. Absolute Racing is his second. The biggest movers, though, are SQDA Grit Motorsport. Changwoo Lee really providing some great racing up towards turn number 1. Emilien Carde then for DW Evans are in 4th. The Iron Lynx car of Miki Kiyama, P5. Gavin Huang for the Arrows Racing Team. HLO Fortis Racing Team by Absolute are in P7. We then have Decathlon in P8 in the YK Motorsports team. Super Chai, of course, a 4-time champion in the series. In the Lamborghini Cup, finds himself in 9th position, and Thomas Yuli rounds out your top 10. So frantic stuff, frantic action, but everyone pretty much facing the right way, apart from Bobby Buncheron, who will not be happy with that, and I'm sure that he will come back fighting next round, if not this one. We'll be hoping for a safety car at some point. Although he is already a lap down. He's not quite a lap down, so he's about a minute down, so he'll be hoping that someone has an issue. That way he will be able to catch back up here. But one driver that doesn't need it right now, it is Peter Lee. Flying at the front there, being chased very closely though by Marco Giltrap. Giltrap winner from yesterday, the pro reigning champion. So expect him to be very, very quick indeed, and expect him to stalk his prey before making a potential overtake. He's very close as we're heading down towards that Sunway Lagoon corner. Heading onto the back straight, is he going to potentially set it up for the final corner? Just doesn't quite get the power down early enough, I don't think. Going to have that slipstream for sure. He is closing up. I don't think he's going to be close enough to make a move to that final corner. If he does, it will be ballsy, but he doesn't. He's on the brakes very late though. He's going to run deep actually. Can he set it up then for turn number 1? So he's going to try and cut back and get that power down a lot earlier than the car in the lead, but it's still Peter Lee that holds on to this lead. So very impressive stuff. Miki Kiyama putting the pressure on Emilien Carde a little bit further behind. And the one car that's not really under too much pressure, Changwoo Lee. So the Korean team, Grit Motorsport, SQDA, just chilling there in a P3 right now. Don't really need to be worried about too much, I don't think. And they are, just like Peter Lee, not having to worry about their pace dropping throughout this race because they do not have a driver swap. So that's one thing you will see during this race, guys, is that teams have a faster driver and a slower driver. No two drivers are exactly the same. So you'll see that some teams will drop off, some teams will get even faster. One driver who's looking to go really, really fast at this moment in time is Marco Giltrap. He could not be any closer right now to Peter Lee. Peter Lee under some severe pressure, but he's warding it off quite nicely at this stage. So I don't want to jinx him, of course. I don't want to make him, make any kinds of mistakes. He'll come through the Genting curve. He'll now come through the clear curve. And that double right-hander. You see them running out wider and wider as the tyres fall off through there. And coming down towards the Bajaya Tioman corner. So it's very, very easy to get the power down too early here, with it being uphill and you feel like it's going to help the car. Just lose the car completely under the power load. Luckily they've come through there nicely. Through the Kenya Lake corner. Now we're going to sweep all the way down the hill through a left-hander. Just coax it through now, a right-hander into the Sunway Lagoon, second to last corner. But right now, Peter Lee is holding on very nicely indeed. Marco Giltrap not really being able to find any kind of answer to Peter Lee's pace. They are very closely matched. It's only a couple of tenths between them. But this is very impressive right now from Peter Lee. So 4 tenths was the gap between them as they crossed the line last time around. I think that gap may be similar. Oh, that's a mistake there. That is a mistake from Chang Woo Lee. He was catching up for sure. He's just run very deep in towards that final corner. He might now be in the clutches of Emilien Cade. Miki Kiyama, no answers to the Frenchman either. To the Frenchman, Emilien Cade, in a very nice position right now in P4. Again, yesterday it just looked like he was struggling with the new car that he's driving this season. And that would be why he dropped down the order after the pit stop phase. But you could tell that Cade, the 24-year-old, the Frenchman, has learnt so much over the course of yesterday's racing. So Emilien Cade, he's been in the LMP Championship and the Michelin Le Mans Cup in 2023, 2022. A little, completely different style of car to what this is. He's been in a French GT Championship in a GT4, which is a little bit different here as we see a spin there. That is a big spin. And is that Bobby Buncherone again? No, it's not. It's the number 7, isn't it? So that is the Vortex Racegraph team who just find themselves facing the wrong way on the exit of the second to last corner. That, as they say, is suboptimal. I'm sure we're going to get a replay of that. That was not good at all. I believe they're going to end up back into last position there. Yeah, there we are. Down into last position for Tia Jun Song. Here's your battle for the lead though. Still Peter Lee that is holding Marco Giltrap at bay. Really nicely done as it stands. So we've got one of the Arrows Racing team there. It's the number 51. Currently find themselves in P11. Johnson Huang. And you've got Fang Ping Chen just in behind trying to make a move as well. So they're both looking to try and move their way up towards the top 10. Bit of a mistake there from Johnson. Maybe give a Fang Ping a little bit of hope as we head down towards that second to last corner. There you see that Chen is very much keeping Johnson honest. It's very difficult to find any kind of manoeuvre here. You've got to be very brave under braking. Do that 2-3 too many times, unfortunately you're just going to lose complete traction in the tyres later on in this race, and it will hurt your teammate. It really will hurt your teammate. So you've got to kind of race clever. You've got to take your time. You can't afford to burn the tyres out too early in this race. It's a long race indeed. So you've got the GW racing team there supporting their drivers. Daniel Wells will be getting into the car at the halfway point of this race. We head back up towards our leaders then, and it is still Peter Lee doing bits here as Marco Giltrap almost trying to play with his food, if you like. It's very close to the back there of Peter Lee's car, and well, I'll tell you what, it's an absolute tank slap of a moment there on the exit of the clear curve. As we come down towards the hairpin, the Jaya Tioman corner, that now brings Chang-Woo Lee into play. So are we about to see a potential move here for second? We were thinking that the battle for P1 was going to get fruity and spicy. But ultimately, Lee now with an opportunity to get himself involved. So a three-way battle for the lead. About 11 minutes into this race. Really nice stuff. Down again towards the Sunway Lagoon. Peter Lee doing just a good enough job right now. All you need to do is you're going to get a lovely little replay. Here we go. So Peter Lee comes through. You can see he's struggling with traction as well. And just, yeah, that's a little bounce over the curb, isn't it? Marco bounces over the curb. And what that means is the wheels leave the track. And when you're pushing the loud pedal, the wheels keep rotating. And when the wheels hit back down onto the track, they're going too fast for the rotation of the car. Nearly ended up facing the wrong way. And in all fairness, Marco, that was some save. Really, really nicely done. I think he'll be pretty happy that he's still P2 in this race. Lido now very much in this lead battle. So remember, the front P1 and P3, they will not change drivers. Clay Osborne will get into the car for Absolute Racing, who are currently in P2. Right now, P1 and P3, they will keep the same driver, so their pace will not drop off at all. And you've got the battle between Emilian Carde and indeed Miki Kayama. Well, for Miki Kayama, it'll be Charles Leong that gets into the car, and then for Emilian Carde, it's going to be Daniel Wells who will get into the car. So there will be some changes. Pit window will open in about 8 minutes' time, so still plenty of time. The front five are really the stars of the show as it stands. They've got about a 9-second advantage over the rest of the field. Super impressed really here with Emilian Carde. It didn't go well for him yesterday. Lost about 5 positions after he got into the car, but today definitely showed some real pace. Miki Kiyama, who was basically a driving highlight reel with overtakes yesterday, needs at least one more. Needs at least one more to try and close that gap at the front. Looks like Giltrap is closing back up to Peter Lee. Lee Chang-Woo just falling back a little bit. Are we about to see that potential move down towards the second to last corner? Yama has decided, you know what, I'm going to open up this corner and then try and get the power a little bit earlier. Try and draw alongside Emilian Carde. And as we come then down the back straight, down the Penang straight, it is still the Frenchman that holds on. Not by a lot, but by enough. Into that final corner, forcing Emilian to go in a little bit early. Yama might have the drive on the exit of the final corner, and maybe with an opportunity down towards turn number 1. There's the Absolute Racing team then keeping close eye on Marco Giltrap, currently in P2, 4/10 of a second behind Peter Lee. Pit stop today is going to be vital. Driver swap is going to be absolutely vital. These two duking it out for 4th position as it stands. Emilian Carde doing a very, very good job. Miki Kiyama, a very experienced driver. Of course, used to race in the W Series. Go a little bit further back. So we've got maybe the most colourful livery on the grid. A bit further back there, we've got Yuli Thomas. You've got Johnson Huang, who's caught up, and Fang Ping Chen. So they've both caught up to this car in front whilst battling for position. All of a sudden, they're all battling for a 9th spot. They're all battling for a potential top 9. Beautiful liveries there. We've got number 51 in the Arrows Racing team. The 2 cars look very similar on the grid. We've got the number 11 and the number 51. Number 11 currently in P7. Number 51 is currently in P10. There we go, we get to see their best lap times at 12.8. The track's never really been at the right conditions for any potential lap records this weekend. We had a lot of weather late last week. Last meeting has been a pretty green track all weekend. long. Frank Chen. Nearly becoming very good friends with the rear of the Arrows Racing team. Don't want to be doing that, that's for certain. And if you're at home wondering what's wrong with my voice, I can only apologise, guys. I've actually had a bad throat for about a week, so we're going to get through this. We're going to be fine. We've got 35 minutes to go. So if it completely goes by then, it's fine. As long as we get this race in the books, we're all good. So there's the battle for P4 then. Kade still holding on to Miki Kiyama. Kiyama, who was one of the stars of the show yesterday, just unable to find any kind of gap to work with. Kade is making that Lamborghini Huracan Super Trofeo Evo 2 as wide as he possibly can. As we see a potential move for the lead, we do see a move for the lead. It's Marco Giltrap. Yes, there's a beautiful bit of driving there from Marco Giltrap up towards the Langkawi curve. And there it is. So Giltrap, who won yesterday, is now into P1 once again. Peter Lee was unable to defend it. They've got Lee Chang-woo just behind as well. For the first time, the Absolute Racing team take the lead this time around. Brilliant stuff. Now, what kind of pace do you have in clear air? Still 4 minutes to go before we have a potential for a pit stop. Pit window will open. Marco Giltrap, who's been maybe stuck behind Peter Lee. You can see already the gap coming out a little bit. Has got the opportunity to now drive away. We're about to see that replay, I believe. So apologies for the technical issues here, guys. Yeah, Marco Giltrap with a lovely move for the lead of the race. Peter Lee now in second position. In third, then we've got Chang-woo Lee. And we're back. So apologies for the technical issues there, guys. But the feed froze a little bit there. But as you can see, Marco Giltrap, as soon as he'd been given a bit of clear air, he's off. He's cleared off. Now, Peter Lee under a bit of pressure from Lee Chang-woo. So we're about to see a move for second position now. Maybe is the answer to that question. But Marco Giltrap is off. It will be the 18-year-old Clay Osborne who's going to be getting into the car there. Through the clear curve they come. Now we're heading down towards that hairpin with Jaya Tioman. A bit further back, Emilian Carde's got a bit of breathing room to Kiyama now as well. There you have it. 208.440, one of the quicker laps we've had this weekend. And Marco Giltrap has already made about a 2-second advantage. Definitely was being held up. And this guy is a champion for a reason. The obnoxious Kiwi livery, absolutely love it. One of my favourite liveries I've had the pleasure of commentating on, actually. Beautiful livery. As we head on to the back straight, yeah, get your cameras out. Beautiful work. Beautiful work. Someone sign him up with that camera work. That was delightful. We head then down in towards the final corner. And there we go. Drivers all getting ready to get into the car. The second drivers. It's a reverse from yesterday. So everybody who started yesterday are now going to be finishing the race opposed to starting. A nice little change up. And whoever qualified gets to start the race. That's basically how it works. Head down towards turn number 1. We've got a battle for second. We've got a battle for fourth as well. So Emilian Carde just managed to get a little gap. this gap is going to disappear very quickly indeed. It's not going to be massive once they come into the pits. Everybody has to serve the same amount of pit time, and that's when it gets very interesting, because the second drivers get into the car and their pace may be faster, maybe a little bit slower, but it will be different. Every driver is different. It is as simple as that. And pit window is now open. And the pit window is officially now open. And I would imagine that Emilian Carde will bring this into the pits very quickly indeed. Daniel Wells being the quicker of the two drivers from what we saw yesterday, although today Emilian has shown a lot more pace, looks very much more comfortable with the chassis. As we do see one of our first pit stops then, well, it is Gavin Wang who brings the car in Jonathan Cecotto. That's an interesting one. Of course, Cecotto was star of the field in the first stint yesterday. And has he been given too much work to do to maybe claw the advantage back? Maybe see him near the front of the race today? Well, we're about to find out. I think he might have been given a little bit too much work, but Jonathan Cecotto is a very outstanding driver, so you never know. Emilian Carde, though, look at this. Pulling out that gap now on Kiyama. Kiyama had a fair amount of chances, really, to get ahead and be in P4. We're seeing loads of cars come down the pit road now. We have got Arrows Racing. Both teams are in the pits right now. We've got Madness Racing Team. The number 11 are in. We've got Siam Gas Corsa. True Vision Motorsports are in. Iron Lynx, number 33. And Arrows Racing, number 8, are into the pits. Do we see anyone pit here? No. No, we do not. It looked like Kiyama was going to bring the car into the pits, but it just didn't seem to happen. So there is the number 8 then of Stephen Chian into the pits. And Samson Chan will get into the car. There's the number 78, Bobby Buncheron. Solo entry, so we'll be back out. Unfortunately, he was facing the wrong way earlier on in this race, and that's kind of rendered his race done and dusted, being half a lap down already. You see they're doing the timing on the phone. It's always good. This is where the leaders can get caught out a little bit here, because they might get stuck in traffic, because it is an 85-second pit stop. Ultimately, yeah, you can find yourself in a little bit of trouble. Car that's 20 seconds behind you will end up being, potentially lapped once they've done their pit stop, because they're that far behind. Where you can get caught out as a leader and get slowed down. It's very difficult to find the space to overtake them, unless it's around the final sector, down to turn number 1. Through the clear curves then, Emilian Carde's been caught once again. So maybe the allure of a car in front has put Carde off a little bit here. Hasn't just got to worry about the track in front of him, but now worry about the car in front of him as well. And this has brought Kiyama back into the fight. We head then through the Kenya Lake corner. There is that beautiful livery, number 56. Yeah, definitely the most colourful livery on the grid, the DW Evans GT team. A really nice car. And it will be Pirolati who will be the car now, the Finnish driver, his debut season. He was very quick yesterday. Very quick indeed. Andre Couto, by the way, out on circuit as well. Remember, the only driver, local driver to win the Macau GP. Super Chai is back out in CM Gas Corsa. Bobby Buncheron is out as well. Kumar Prabhakaran is out in the Iron Lynx car. Samson Chan is out. We've got Harry now in the number 5 car, HZO. Emilian Carde is into the pits then. So Mickey Kiyama moves up a position. Who else is on an out lap now? Jikon Lee, or Peter Lee, should I say, is back out. They were in second position. Nicholas Pirolati, or Pertolati, should I say, is out as well. So Changwoo Lee and Marco Giltrap, those two drivers are yet to pit. So those are the leaders. 4 seconds between the two of them. Then you've got Mickey Kiyama, who will be bringing it in soon as well. So not too long before they all have to pit. they don't do it in the next couple of laps, then obviously they'll be disqualified. So we need to get it done within the next 5 minutes. Clear curve, negotiated down towards the Bajaya Tioman, once again for our race leader. You're going to hand the car over with about a 4-second advantage to your teammate, Clay Osborne. What can Clay do? Definitely Marco's the faster of the two drivers, and there's not a lot between them. They are both exceptionally talented drivers. Marco, 20 years old, of course, last season was a pro champion. And then you've got Clay Osborne on his debut season, 18 years old. Oh. Running a little bit wide there is Marco. Be careful. He run up towards that final corner. I would imagine he stays out for one more lap. I would imagine he does one more lap here. I'd be pretty surprised if he brings it into the pits. Come around that final corner. He's staying out for one more lap. So there we go. So it'll be one more for him. As we see in the left-hand side of your screens, guys, what class of car each driver is driving in. So the yellows, if you look to the right hand side of the timing tower, yellow is for pro driver, green is for pro am, as we see a potential move being made up the inside there by the DW Evans GT car. And well, Pertolati not hanging around. That is a move made. Beautiful stuff there from him, and he's going to move up a position. But with the pit stops, it kind of figures itself out for him not to have gained a spot. So he's kind of lost 2, but now gained 1 back because of the pit stop phase. But ultimately, he makes a lovely move up the inside then of the Arrows Racing team. And yeah, Vincent Tai drops down a spot. Beautiful stuff there. So the young Finn is off to try and catch as many drivers as he can. Jonathan Cicotto, right now, P7 as it stands, off to chase down. He's got 18 seconds behind Peter Lee. So I think he's going to be about 20 odd seconds, 22, 24 maybe, behind the Absolute Racing team. As we see there, Marco Giltrap's just going to lose time now. He's starting to lap cars there. Harry Zero, who's currently in 8th position. So that was to put a lap on them. It's going to lose him time. That means that Cicotto, I think, would be the driver to be worried about to catch up to you. Would only have maybe 22 seconds to deal with. We're about to find out because Giltrap's going to have to bring the car into the pits now. And then it will be all about whether someone could catch the Absolute Racing machine. The number 84, winner from yesterday, being handed over to Clay Osborne. 22 minutes left to go, so we are just over the halfway point of this race. And things are starting to get spicy. So we're about to find out exactly where everybody is. Also will be Miki Kiyama that will bring the car in. Charles Leong will get into the car for the Iron Link outfit. And then we've got for the SQDA Grit Motorsport, Chang Woo Lee is going to stay in the car. We'll see them just appear in the background. There is Miki Kiyama. Although Lee Chang-woo has not appeared. They've tried to stay out here. Well, no, sorry, they came in earlier. I can only apologise. They had already come in earlier. They will naturally be behind them. So anyway, driver swap time. Just checking the pressures. Clay Osborne's going to get into the motor now. We're about to see exactly what the state of play is with about 20 minutes to go. So not long to go in this race at all. And the pit stops are all but done. Again, just checking the pressures, making sure everything is all good. All their calculations they would have done prior to this race. And now this will feel like an eternity for Marco Giltrap and Clay Osborne. Waiting to be told from their mechanics that they can go. And now they can go. So Clay Osborne behind the wheel of the Absolute Racing team. So it's going to take a full tour of the circuit to find out exactly where everybody is. And I think really the big question is, How close will Jonathan Cecotto be? I think Cecotto is the one everybody's got to be watching out for. He was that fast when it came to yesterday's first stint. I would expect him to be absolutely flying through the pack. Yeah, I don't think he's that far. He's just crossed the line as Jonathan Cecotto. He's already up to P6. Well, Clay Osborne has a nice, healthy lead. So Kiyama will be in P2. So we're seeing a little bit of perplexion there. Very confused. Looked a little bit confused. And now we're about to see another win for the Absolute Racing team. They'll be very happy with a double race victory this weekend. What a way to kick things off in the Lamborghini Super Trofeo Asia season. Both drivers have put in great shifts, look very, very quick. Some smiles there, some very sweaty smiles, should I say. Now, if you've just got out the car, all you can do is wait. All you can do is watch and wait. See if the hard work produced was good enough. To Clay Osborne, just coming down towards the final few corners. And once they cross the line again, we'll figure out exactly what the state of play is. Again, I think we've got to watch out for Cecotto. Cecotto is the driver to be watching out for. This is P9 here for the YK Motorsports team. So they just dropped a couple of positions. They must have had issues for them to be in P9 right now. I think they might be a little bit higher than that. They're in 7th position. That's just the number 9 in the car. I'm going to get anyone acknowledged that they're on camera. Doesn't look like we are. But then here is the battle. A bit further back then. So you've got at the front of this, Mickey Kiyama. You've got Peter Lee being sent there by Chang Woo Lee, and Chang Woo Lee is going to make that move stick. It's a really nice move, aggressive, but a really nice move. You've got Daniel Wells as well, who's battling in what will be 5th position, and they're just going to get caught by Cecotto. It's about 12 seconds back, actually. So it might be difficult for Jonathan, but if anyone could do it, it is absolutely him. So I'll keep an eye on that. So he's 23 seconds behind our race leader. Our race leader is 10 seconds clear of the group of 4 cars battling for second. And we get a lovely shot here of Superchai, our 4-time Lamborghini Cup champion. Currently out there in E15. In terms of the Lamborghini Cup, he's currently second. Again, a good performance in the class. Really, the car really to be worried about with HZO Fortis racing team to be ahead of him, and they are ahead of him. So it's going to take a monumental mistake, I think, for them to lose that win for the Lamborghini Cup. But you never know. It's motorsport. Absolutely anything can happen, and it quite normally does. 16.5 minutes left to go of this race. So not long at all. Giltrap, Osborne, they are the leaders right now. The gap was 10 seconds last time they crossed the line. I'll keep an eye out to see exactly what it is this time around. As you see, there is our race leader. As we saw that was the Iron Link car in front, the green car is in front there. The Prabhakaran's driving it, Kumar Prabhakaran, currently in 16th spot. Right now, Clay Osborne will be hoping that there's no real chance of being held up. Mickey Kiyama is just taking a full second out of the lead. So it's not enough. 16 minutes to go. Would needs to be about 1.5 seconds really for that to be a case of a potential race victory for Mickey Kiyama. But you've got to factor in that the group behind, Lee Chang-woo, Zikong Lee, or Peter Lee, should I say, Daniel Wells, they're all going to fight each other. So they're going to slow each other down. I think the biggest factor here is that Jonathan Cecotto is currently 6th. was 2 seconds faster than our race leader. But he's got to get past these 4 before he can then go and chase them down. So it's a little bit more difficult than you might think. But Cecotto was just that fast last time round yesterday that I wouldn't put anything past him at all. Daniel Wells tried to find a gap there, but unfortunately it was too tight to the apex, just slid the rear out. And the number 2, Peter Lee, is just about going to hang on, although it is short-lived. As we come down towards the clear curve, Daniel Wells, using all of the experience and more, has made a sensational little move there. And picks up P4, and this is what I mean. As much as they could go out there and catch the race leader, they're going to have to battle each other in order to be at the lead of this train. So, yeah, it's unfortunate. So, I believe Charles Leong is in the number 32, by the way, guys. He's currently in 2nd position in this race. But our live timing still says Miki Kiyama is in the car. So it's a little bit confusing. But we believe, well, they have to change drivers. Charles Leong is into the Iron Lynx car in P2. So the live timing has not updated. Here's a replay, though. I think we're about to see that overtake. So there we go. Trying to set it up was Daniel Wells and made a little bit of a mistake, but made up for it at the very next corner. Fakes to go around the outside and then just out brakes down towards the clear curve. Wow, beautifully done, and can't really be reciprocated on the exit, otherwise they're both going to end up facing the wrong way. So that's a lovely move there. Peter Lee will be kicking himself, I think, a touch. Will be kicking himself a little bit. They've now come across the start-finish line again, and the gap's come down about 9/10 of a second from Jonathan Cecotto, again who's in P6, to the race leader. So I think it's very difficult for Cecotto to overturn that deficit. He might catch up to the second group, but I'm not sure he's going to catch up to the leaders. The second group are really going to hurt each other if they battle, but there's big points in the offering. P2 is in the offering right now. There would be a second P2 of the weekend for the Iron Lynx team if Charles Leong was to bring the car across the line in second. I think it would be more important, though, to Absolute Racing, are currently leading for the second race in a row. So 2 races in a row. There is Lee Changwu in the SQDA. Come up towards the last 10 minutes of this race with a mistake there, and that's the back marker, of course. The second of our 2 Iron Lynx cars just letting people go by. A lovely shot there of the DW Evans GT. That final corner. Ooh. That was opportunistic, to say the very least. Peter Lee there nearly getting involved with the back marker. Nearly getting involved with the back marker. This is brilliant for P2 right now. Charles Leong looking golden for that second position in the SJM Iron Lynx Theodore Racing outfit. They're in second. It's going to be 2 seconds for the season, which is very, very impressive indeed. Just 11 minutes left on that clock. But yeah, that was nearly a race ender there for Peter Lee. We'll have to see the DW Racing team make a move for that 3rd spot. Daniel Wells looking to get past Lee Changwu. Go a bit further back then. This is right at the back, actually. This is Samson Chan versus Leo Howard. It's come through turn number 1. Both of them running very different lines. Nothing really doing there. The gap coming back out, so the gap going a little bit bigger. But yeah, as you can see, there's fighting all over the grid. Doesn't matter where you are on circuit, they are fighting. That's all you can really expect. As a fan, that's all we can expect. Again, I'm keeping out on Cecotto look, or Cecotto watch. He's now, again, gained about 1.5 seconds on that last lap. It's not going to be enough, I don't think, with just under 10 minutes to go. But Cecotto, again, giving the fastest stint out of everybody. Did it yesterday. He's doing it again today. So this is your P2. Charles Leon doing a very, very good job. Here is your race leaders doing an even better job. Clay Osborne, who yesterday started from pole position, dropped down to 4th, managed to get himself back up into a fighting position, and then it was Marco Giltrap that managed to get the car into the lead and win the race. So Clay Osborne maybe with a little bit of unfinished business in terms of this circuit, Sepang, and this car today, absolutely putting any doubts to bed. He's been very strong since he's got in the car. Still got 8.9 seconds to play with in terms of the drivers behind. These two look just, like I said yesterday, the business. The absolute racing team, the two Kiwis behind the wheel, you know, one 20 years old, one 18 years old. They do genuinely look the business. Car 88 has just had a warning for track limits at turn 14. Second warning. So that's Andre Couto, currently in 7th spot. Here's your battle for the podium though. Lee Chang-woo, under pressure from Daniel Wells. Daniel Wells, who made a very nice overtake about 4 laps ago, will need to do the same again. He's not quite close enough to do that move he did previously. Peter Lee. But you never know. So Daniel Wells looking to try and grab himself that podium. Is there that possibility to come through the clear curve once again? So easy to grab too much curb there on the entry. It just bounces you on the exit. You lose so much momentum. Daniel Wells very close now. Come through the hairpin. Vijaya Tioman corner. And I'll tell you what, I think it might be when, not if, when, and he's gone for it. Daniel Wells sends one up the inside then of Kenya Lake corner. And well, by the time we have a look at a different camera angle, it is done and dusted. Beautiful move there as we sweep it down towards the Sunway Lagoon corner. And Daniel Wells is just a highlight reel in this second stint. An absolute highlight reel. Is there the opportunity of getting a P2? Well, we're about to find out. Yesterday, Emilian Carde, I think, struggled with the occasion, and ultimately they dropped down the order. But today, Emilian Carde has had a very good first stint, and he has given the best opportunity for Daniel Wells to go out there and get a great performance under his belt. So here is the move then. Just a late brake, up the inside, nice and calculated, hits the apex, moves out onto the curbing out on the outside. It's just really difficult to defend with tyres being in the state they are at this stage of the race. Beautiful job. Not really a lot you can say there. Got a back marker. Super Chai being dealt with there by Charles Leon. And that would have cost him a little bit of time there. Daniel Wells will look to try and chase down that P2. 6 minutes, 30 seconds left on the clock. I would say that gap's maybe a little bit too big, but the way Daniel's been driving in this stint, never say never. He's been very, very good. Definitely has some pace in the bank. Clay Osborne, by the way, running the same laps as the group behind. He's not really losing too much time. I think Jonathan Cecotto might be battling with Peter Lee in the next lap. He's now 3 seconds behind. He's managed to gain about 7 seconds over the leader as Cecotto. Just a little bit too much work to do, unfortunately. But Cecotto, the monocask driver, is very, very fast indeed. And I will be expecting to see a lot more from him this season, that is for certain. There is your number 63, currently in 4th position. They might get caught by Jonathan Cecotto, you know. Yeah, Cecotto may be able to get the top 5. Maybe top 4. It's going to be tight. Cecotto will have the bit between his teeth and he'll be pushing and pushing. There is the SUDA Grip Motorsport car. That Korean flag on the side, beautiful looking motor. You head then down the back straight, down towards that final corner. We're about to enter the final 5 minutes of this race. Look at that, Daniel Wells. The gap between Daniel Wells right now, Peter Leong is not really, Charles Leong, it's not really coming down. So the gap between them on the previous lap was about 3 seconds, and it still is. So it's about 3 seconds. So Charles Leong with a chance to get his second P2 of the weekend. It'd be a perfect result, to be honest. Very difficult to beat the Absolute Racing team. They've been outstanding. So in terms of race results for the DW Racing team, are currently in that third spot with Daniel Wells. They finished 8th yesterday, so a big improvement on yesterday's. Here is Jonathan Cecotto. So he is catching up. Look at him stalking. I think there's the potential for 2 overtakes here. I think there's a top 4 in the offering. This will be for a top 5. So Peter Lee is the first car to deal with. We head back up towards the leaders. We are going to have 2 laps remaining once we next cross the line. There is the gap at 8.3 seconds. No mistakes. Clay will take the checkered flag. Will take the second win of the weekend. Brilliant stuff from the team. It's not just the drivers that are exceptional. The team have been absolutely perfect this weekend. But they've given a car that's qualified well. They qualified 3rd for qualifying 1. For qualifying 2, they started. Sorry, should I say they started 1st in qualifying 1. In qualifying 2, they were in 2nd. So they've got the car, they've got the drivers. It's just now all about executing that. Right now, they are doing that to perfection. So 2 more tours of this Sepang circuit once they come across the line to pick up a 2nd race victory in a row. Jonathan Cecotto, though, is very much catching up to that group of top 5. So the Arrows Racing team looking to try and get as many spots on these final couple of laps as they possibly can as well. So there we go, starting the second to last lap. So the gap has come down a little bit. 7.4 seconds. Charles Leong is behind our race leader. So the gap has definitely come down. Absolute Racing looking to hold on. They've got the SJM Iron Linked Theodore Racing team in 2nd spot, trying to maybe find themselves an opportunity. There is Jonathan Cecotto. We knew there was going to be fireworks here. Is there a potential gap up the inside of turn number 1? No, there is not. That is beautifully defended there, by the way, by Peter Lee. Cecotto will be hoping to get this done as early as he possibly can, because he wants to try and get up into a top 4. Top 5 might not be enough. I think there is the potential to gain 2 positions as we come up the hill, up towards the Langkawi curve. He's going to take the outside line and try and get the power down a little bit earlier with the underlap. And he has to sweep round. He's got to go all the way around the outside and actually decides against it. Is there an opportunity now? No, not quite. Not quite at all. Come through there, the Genting curve. Now down towards the clear curve. We've seen this happen a couple of times during this race. It's not happened on entry. What about the exit? No, it's not. Perfectly done here. Peter Lee making that Lamborghini so wide. Cecotto, one of the best artists in terms of making an overtake on the grid. He's just not able to do anything. Brilliant stuff then through the Bajaya Tioman corner. And it's still Peter Lee that hangs on. I thought this would be an absolute formality, but it's not. It's anything but. Brilliant stuff then from Peter Lee. And his team are going to be super happy. Blackjack Racing, who did ultimately start from pole position today, they're going to be so happy with this defensive work. Down towards the second to last corner. And if you can do that for 1 more lap here, you're going to hold on to a top 5 against one of the more favoured drivers on the grid. So to start the final lap of the race then, it is the Absolute Racing team with Clay Osborne at the wheel. Jonathan Cecotto then looking to make that move again round the outside of the final corner. Just going to get ushered out wide. It's brilliant for Peter Lee, although Peter Lee's going to run wide now as well. Just doesn't leave a big enough gap there. Cecotto right underneath that rear wing. trying to find a gap between him and the wall. I wouldn't go down there. Again, great defensive work from Peter Lee. You can see the overspeed then from Cecotto. He tries to turn in, and unfortunately, until the car on your inside turns in, you've kind of got to stay out there. Peter Lee with a brilliant bit of defence, although Cecotto sends it down in towards turn number 2. I think that might be looked at. He might have had all 4 wheels off the track, but we want to see them fighting, and he got it. Brilliant move in the end. It had to be spot on, because Peter Lee was just not making any mistakes. Cecotto does get up into a top 5. Does Peter Lee have one more surprise? Does he have one more trick up his sleeve? I find it hard to believe now Cecotto's ahead. Now he's got the clear air. He should be in a really good position. So exceptional driving there. And again, to everyone at home, I do apologise for my voice. I have not been very well over the last week. But hopefully you've enjoyed the broadcast over this weekend. I've had an absolute blast commentating on the Lamborghini Super Trofeo Asia 2024. Hopefully we'll see you across the season. Into the final few corners there for Clay Osborne yesterday. Maybe not the best of occasions for Clay. His first stint, he managed to drop down to 4th position off of a pole position start. Managed to get himself back up into 2nd and then handed the car over to Marco Giltrap. And then Giltrap did the business. Giltrap has done the business again today in stint number 1. He handed the car over to Clay Osborne. Clay Osborne's delivered. No worries whatsoever. The 2 young Kiwis bringing out the best of each other and bringing out a double race victory in the Lamborghini Super Trofeo Asia. Brilliant stuff there from the Absolute Racing team. Well, talking about identical results, Mickey Kiyama and Charles Leon for the SJM Iron Lynx Theodore Racing team. They managed to get P2 again. Daniel Wells did not manage to close up to P2, but manages to get a podium. So Daniel Wells and Emilian Carde will be on the podium. Congratulations to him. And we then got the SQDA Grit Motorsport team, the first of our AMs. They finish in P4. But what a day, the Absolute Racing team. Brilliant stuff from them. It's a P1. What a weekend. There'll be some celebrations in that team tonight, that's for certain. This will be the most fun lap of them all. Knowing that the race is done and dusted. Driving it like he's still racing, by the way. Nothing slow about this lap. Nothing slow about it at all. So Clay, you might want to just enjoy it, mate. Get your hand out the window. Let them know. Let them know. Charles Leon with a P2. 2 big podiums this weekend. Good start to the championship for them. And then your final driver on the podium. Daniel Wells, Emilian Carde, debutant in Emilian Carde. Young French driver. Celebrating alongside Charles Leon. And I think Clay has realised, yeah, I should probably just chill and celebrate a little bit. Maybe he just can't wait to go back to his team and get a beer. Who knows? I'm pretty hopeful it's the latter. Get back to the pits really fast, grab a beer, celebrate. That's a really good plan. But an outstanding performance from our 2 Kiwis. The Absolute Racing team, perfection. So the only thing they could have done better was gain 1 extra point by being on pole position for qualifying 2. But they are going to come away from this weekend with 31 points out of a possible 32. Beautiful. There is Marco. So I'm going to go and give him a celebratory fist pump. Very muted celebrations. Lots of excitement, though, from the fans. Well, there you go. Right, well, there it is, ladies and gentlemen. That is the Lamborghini Super Trofeo Asia round 1 done and dusted. The weekend does belong to the Absolute Racing team, as we're about to see some celebrations. So well done to them. Hopefully you enjoyed the broadcast. If you have, make sure you like and you subscribe to the channel. It's always appreciated. And maybe we'll catch you next time. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.